They can't even, they've closed the courthouse in Charlotte. Like, they won't even let people go to the courthouse and do it.
I have work. And Adam's like, everyone's turning you off.
Like, sorry, you're out of luck. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. All right, well, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Today I wanted to talk about time management and staying sane, coronavirus notwithstanding, just, life and family and work and whatnot. We talk a lot about being really efficient with our efforts. Hi, James. So we can get more done with less time or do more with our resources, right? So either it takes you less amount of work to get to X number, or you're able to do the same amount. You're able to do more transactions with the same amount of effort that you did previously because you've gotten better. And that's part of it. The other part of it is making sure that you're using your weekly schedule that you built and that you're sticking to it. And if you're not checking yourself against the way you built your schedule on a constant basis, and you're not happy with how much you're working, well, it's going to start with you, because you're the one who's working and you're the one who built the schedule. So, show of hands, who is actually tracking their daily activity versus their ideal weekly schedule, and who is holding themselves accountable? And if you're not, when's the last time you reviewed it to update it to make sure that you are, or to find out why you're not?
Not me.
This is appropriate, even though I can't see your whole shirt. What does your shirt say, Tiffany?
Real estate is struggle.
Great shirt for today's conversation.
She totally planned on purpose.
She knew the topic. She came prepared.
I didn't even put the shirt together with the topic, though.
So, seriously, we need to have a conversation about this, because it's one thing when you start a business. And the good thing about our team is we've got people at different maturations in their business, right? So you all can kind of rely on each other's experience, at least building for best practices to put you in a better position to be successful and stay sane and manage your time more effectively. But unless you're talking to each other, I guess we're going to have to do it this way. Don't forget, you've got a team full of members that are a resource to you. And I know that some of you talk to each other about various things regarding real estate. Make sure your calendar is running. Who here has ever told a client, I can't tell you a home in because I have an appointment, and it was something to do with your family?
Me, all the time.
But you can't do it.
Right. No.
I just said I incorporate my family with you. I'm bringing my son if you want to see the house.
I'm very happy, whatever you need in that moment.
Okay. Are you happy with your work-life balance?
No.
Okay, well then you know where to start, right? So, and yeah, 100%, I've done that. I'll bring my kids with. Shoot, I'd rather show houses with my kids.
Yeah.
It's the edge off.
Right.
When Winslow's doing his thing, I'm like, all right, you ready to write the offer? That's great. But to be serious about this, if you're not time blocking personal time, then you're always going to let work trump it. Okay? Time block time with your family. And if you have to move it, because there's always an exception when your hair's on fire, right? You get somebody who's like, approved, here's my letter, a budget $750, I've got 3 houses, I'm going to pick one of these. Sorry, kids, I'll catch you on the next side, right?
That's right.
Or jump in the car, because, that's urgency. But if you've got a looky-loo that you've been talking to and shown houses to 4 separate times, and you know they're indecisive, well, make sure that you're thinking about it the right way before you give up something that you had planned already to go do it with them. Okay? I say I'm in an appointment all the time. I'm doing something with my kids. What's an appointment with my kids? Okay? And make sure you do that too. Here's another thing that I know we're all guilty of. My phone is always with me. You guys see that. I have it with me at the table sometimes, which is terrible. But if I know something's coming, I want it by me. and my family gets that. On the other hand, if I don't expect anything coming, why should I have it? Go put it in the other room. It probably needs to charge anyway because you've been on it all day, right? Just be mindful of those things. Help take the stress off yourself by feeling like you're always on call. We don't have to be always on call. Just depends on the situation. But you have to know enough about yourself and the people you're talking with to appropriately gauge that situation. So you know how responsive you have to be. I'm not trying to just preach, but you guys, I please encourage you to talk too.
Doug, I'll tell you one thing that I did a lot when I was at Rachel Kendall is, I'm sorry I can't get in the house. I put the request in. They want to approve it. I mean, sometimes you have to do that for people. The other thing is you want people to think that you're super busy because you're successful and you're professional and you're helping a lot of other people. And the minute you indicate, especially early on in a client relationship, that you will drop your personal life at any moment to show them any house, even though you know they're not really going to make a decision today, they're going to steamroll you, and you've already set the precedent that you control our relationship and not me, even though I'm telling you I'm the expert.
That's a great point. How much do we talk about setting expectations?
I think sometimes, though, as newbies, you want to be that yes man, and that expectation with your family is like, okay, they know zero and they're just starting. So if they don't answer the call, then that could be a potential whatever. But I totally agree that you have to figure out healthy boundaries. You know, like if a lead comes in at supper time, I'm like, okay, well, do I call? Do I wait an hour? I'll be like, is it okay for me to take this call? You know, or whatever the case may be, you know, and just make sure that the family understands that. I mean, it is hard when you're first starting to figure out what that healthy boundary looks like, you know, or like if I'm going to an event or something, I know I'm expecting like an answer with an offer or whatever where I'm going. I'll be like, if I have to step out for 5 minutes, I'm expecting a call, and at least give somebody a heads up. But I'm not going to not go to the party or whatever just because I'm expecting something.
You should not go to the party. And let's be honest, and Juliana, you're getting ready to look at this square in the face. Your first 90 days in the business, yeah, sorry. None of this applies.
Right.
You don't have a life the first 3 months. Not if you want to get your feet underneath you. And then
the
way work. But after that, you're going to know enough about what you have to do to help people to make better judgment calls. And I've talked with all of you about this. I've said every quarter you should really look at your ideal weekly schedule and see how you're doing versus what you're tracking. Okay? What am I saying I want to do, and how am I holding myself to that? And if you're not, there's nothing wrong with changing it. Change it. You want it to reflect what you're doing, but you also need to make sure you're building in that other time. It's incredibly important. Right? I want you guys to stay tuned and not get burnt out and start to resent the team, real estate, leads, lenders. We already resent other agents for the most part, so that doesn't count. You know what I'm saying? Dustin, did you pick up Brandon's point about the kind of exclusivity and putting it out there that, look, I've got a lot going on. We got to maximize my time. That tied back nicely into your 6 clients a month, didn't it?
Yeah, I just need 6 clients now.
Maybe say 5 for now.
Yeah.
You can work up to 6. But you see what I'm saying. Any other feedback from anything? Tiffany, we were talking about it the other day. I know we covered most of what we talked about. What else do you want to add?
I mean, no, I just think sometimes put stuff aside that you don't need to do it right now. Like whenever I get an email or something from an attorney or a lender, you know, whatever, you feel like you got to submit it right now. At least I do. I have to upload it right now or else I'm going to forget, or I'm going to go sit down. I'm going to do that real quick. It's just going to take 5 minutes. And then by the time I get done doing that, it's been 6. Now I'm again with my family. So I'm trying to be better about after a certain time, emails unless I absolutely have to. Like I don't even open them so that I don't forget to to look at them. Like right now I have to submit like 3 different repair requests. And I knew last night they came in, my clients told me what to do, and I almost sat down and typed it up, and I thought, no, like I'll do it in the morning when I have like rested. And I think sometimes I have to get better about not right away. I don't know if anybody else is like that.
Know who your audience is. If you got an email from a lender or an attorney at 4:30 and you sit down to look at it at 6 o'clock after dinner, it doesn't matter if you do it at 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 8 o'clock the next morning, probably, right? They're not going to see it until they get back in the office. While I appreciate that we're different than a lot of agents that we interact with and that we're incredibly responsive and act with urgency, right? Well, know when to apply it, okay? You don't have to apply it 100% of the time. So just be mindful of that so you don't drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, because I thought about that last night. I thought, well, if I send this to the agent at 9 o'clock at night, she's not talking to her client until tomorrow.
Right?
Yeah.
Who else has something to chime in on that experience they want to share, how they've engaged in themselves, their efforts with it to give it
Doug, I'll share something really quickly.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Nate.
I think you just have to be, I think there's a fine line about like making yourself an exclusive agent because, you know, some of these people are the reason why they're talking to us in the first place. So you just have to gauge it because you know how it is. We say it all the time. Oh yeah, I think Dustin, you pointed out an agent the other day that, oh yeah, give her a call and see, you know, her voicemail and see what it says. And that's true. So I think it's just a balance of kind of like we say all the time, expectation management. When you're first meeting somebody, be responsive, but also let them know like, hey, I have these family commitments that I have to adhere to. And I think people are understanding if you explain it to them. But if you're just not responding, at night, a quick text instead, just say, hey, I'm busy. I'll get back up with you. Like that.
Nate, I got 2 takeaways from there. First of all is the other agent, without naming any names, goes the complete opposite end of the spectrum by saying, you can't reach me except for, or I won't respond until the next day at X.
That's terrible.
Never put out a statement, a blanket statement like that. That makes absolutely no sense. That leaves you no room to be flexible. The other thing is, don't feel the need to tell them what your other commitment is about.
Right.
I have another commitment. I have another appointment.
It's not their business.
It doesn't matter if it's with a teacher or a doctor or a client or your kids or your spouse. Doesn't matter. I have another commitment. But you're next on my list. You know?
I feel like I'm afraid of saying, like, for example, Tiffany, remember when you had the flu or you were really sick and someone wanted to see a house and you said that you were sick and that you offered to have someone else, and she's like, oh, it's okay, we'll do it next time. And what happened? She wrote an offer that day.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's my mindset.
Well, and you've been there for people who you provided that service for when they've asked for that, and they've still done that.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't drive yourself crazy breaking your back for people that.
Well, and that's the other thing.
I'm under agency.
We talked about this when I had the same situation though. I think y'all remember, like, we should, if something like that comes up, we could also ask for somebody else to help us out on the team.
Exactly. I've done that on more than one occasion. If I'm out of town or if I've got something else going on, or if it's closer, if it's further away from where I live, I think that they're very open to, if you set that expectation, I'm here to help you along the way, but if there ever comes a time where I'm not available, I've got plenty of people on my team that can help out, and then set that expectation that you might not be the only agent in front of them showing them properties or helping with whatever. And that's never been an issue so far for me.
And if you're not putting that forward when you're first meeting with people to let them know the extent to which we have their back, that it's not just you, that you've got other resources if we need them in a fix, then you're selling yourself short. and you're not giving them all the value that you can give them to show them why they should work with you. So make sure you're doing that.
Like your people, Tiffany from Emerald Isle.
I have a client that you have to give a blanket statement to. She will take advantage. She'll text you at 2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. She texted me 2 hours straight from 2:30 to 4:30 the other night. So I told her, you can't get me after 9 p.m. and I'm not going to answer until after 8:30 a.m. So I think there's situations where you have some clients you have to set those boundaries.
For
Maybe
sure.
not every client on your voicemail or tell every other agent that, but there's definitely times where you have to set those boundaries because
100%. If you're not setting boundaries with people in a realistic fashion, at least maybe on a day-to-day basis, this is my boundary today, then you're letting them drive the ship. And how much do we talk about who do we want to be in control? Not the client, not the attorney, not the lender, not the other agent. We want to be in control. So grab hold of the reins and lead it where you want it to go. And I think for the most part, people appreciate that. And the ones that give you pushback for any of these things that we're talking about, I want to question about the entire relationship as a whole. You guys all know the longer you work in this business, you can be more selective about who you work with, right? Now, again, that's never going to be the same answer for every client because there are a lot of extenuating circumstances. The point is be cognizant of it and recognize what's happening up front. Okay? That's all. Brandon, do you have something else you wanted to add?
Well, everybody kind of covered a lot of it during the last couple minutes of the conversation. A big part of it goes into the scripting, right? The very first time we have our buyer consult or show a house with somebody, especially down at the beach where it's a little bit different than it is up here in Raleigh, although we're getting to that point and it's only going to grow. This is the power of working with a team. You know, a lot of agents, they go out of town and the buyers are left to fend for themselves for the weekend, going to open houses. If I can't assist you, I have a team that's ready to assist you as well in my stead. We were going to take care of you from start to finish. Set that expectation. Set the expectation during the consult that, hey, if you ever call me or text message me and I don't answer, I'm either with another client or my spouse or my child or whatever it is. I'm going to get back to you. Just know that I got a lot going on. You're important. I am going to follow up with you. I feel like everyone's already doing it anyway, but it's really important, especially for like Juliana, to hear that on the front end when you get started.
100%. You
I
never
just think it's
hear
great.
from me. If you don't hear from me immediately, just know there's a good reason.
Right.
All right, good discussion. Anybody else have anything to add?
Juliana, I think you're about to say something now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's great too that like you give two squirts of piss about our home life too, you know, like that you want us to have that good work-life balance. You know, I haven't worked for anybody else, but I'm sure there are companies out there that could care less.
They want you married to your job.
Yeah.
I don't. Stay married to your spouse. One spouse is enough for everybody. It's just all about being, and we talk about this a lot with language, but you need to also be doing it with your thoughts and with your actions. Be intentional. Don't just react. Be proactive in your approach to everything. Be a little more mindful in what you're doing. That way you don't feel like you get backed into a corner. I say this in the most loving way possible. Most of the things we get frustrated about, if we really take a hard look at it, if we had done something different, it wouldn't have happened that way. And that applies to everybody about a lot of things, not just work. So take a little bit more time to be thoughtful in what you're doing before you do it. And I promise you'll get an outcome on the lines of what you're hoping. Because we can't control what other people do. To do the most, put yourself in the position you want to be in.
If you get to a point, obviously it hasn't happened to me yet. I don't know if anybody else on the team has dealt with it. If you get to the point, because I know like in healthcare, we would have these batshit crazy patients and the doctors were like, we're done. I'm divorcing you. I'm not taking care of you anymore. Do y'all like divorce your leads or pass them to another person on the team? Or like, how do you guys deal with that?
I wanted to.
Talk to me about it first and we'll decide together what the best thing to do is. because sometimes I don't want those clients working with anybody else on the team. Sometimes it might be a better fit for somebody else on the team to help.
Gotcha.
That the last thing I like to do is paint with a broad brush. I will take a individual look at every situation.
So that's happened before then.
Oh yeah, I've done it with several people. You got to do it sometimes. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it's okay.
Felicia, you have.
That's all.
The best thing to do is just pass it to me.
Dustin will take all your problems on.
He not scared.
Good discussion, I think. Thanks everybody for chiming in and participating. I really appreciate it. I hope it was helpful. I hope more than anything it gives you some things to think about. Find a quiet corner in all this craziness right now and, reflect. And then plan accordingly. And I'm not going to ask you to turn in your updated Ideal Weekly schedule, but maybe take 10 minutes and look at it. Here's the thing. If you're not tracking it on your DAR worksheet, you got no way in hell of knowing if you're even following it. And so who does that come back to? Right? So make sure you're tracking it so you know if you're living by it, and then you know what you need to do to change. If you're tracking it and you say you want to prospect between 10 and 12 every day, but you're prospecting between 1 and 3 every day because something else keeps you up at 10 to 12, well, then fix your schedule. Then at least you're doing what you say you want to do, right? That's probably bad. All right. Nothing tomorrow. Keep washing your hands. Let me know if you need me. I'll talk to the rest of you for today a little bit later, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey, Alicia, did you get the offer on the house accepted?
On the Carolina Beach?
The house that the one that you were in multiples with this weekend.
Oh, we're still waiting. They've had
Really?
our offer since it's been a shit show. We're still waiting.
She should automatically get it because she's putting 10 grand in DD.
Well, they want more DD now, so.
Oh, wow.
Oof. All right. Everybody have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.